Welcome to Tomorrow's World Today, a show dedicated to the discovery of innovation and cutting-edge technology to be featured in the Park of the Future. The park includes 4 worlds. The worlds are inspiration, creation, innovation, and production. Each one will showcase the latest developments from the greatest companies and smartest people in the world. This is Inventionland World Headquarters. Here now is George Davison.
Nice landing, George.
Well, thank you.
You and your tech toys.
But that's also something more. It's also a clue.
A clue for what?
Our next big adventure.
Okay, let's see. Landing,
Uh-huh.
flying,
Yes.
controlling things from afar.
Here's another clue. How about 4 capital letters, known around the world for innovation?
Oh, well, that's easy. Are we going to NASA?
We're going to NASA.
Yes. Well, NASA's been home to the best and the brightest since the space race with Russia in the late 1950s. I mean, honestly, just thinking about all of their different missions kind of gives me the chills. Gemini, Apollo, Skylab, the space shuttle missions, the ISS, the coming missions to Mars. I mean, it's on any science geek's bucket list to go and visit NASA. However, you did make me a promise about a behind-the-scenes trip to NASA.
And I always keep my promises tomorrow.
You promised that you were going to come out in the field with me this time.
Cape Canaveral, here we come.
The only thing is we might need something a little bigger than this to travel in.
Well, we can arrange that.
Start, 2, 1, boost ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
We're here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex in front of the Space Shuttle Atlantis. The last space shuttle flight took place in 2011, and after the program ended, a lot of people wondered what would be next for NASA.
A lot of people had their doubts. But you know what? I know NASA. No doubting went on here. I figured they'd re-energize themselves somehow.
Well, as you always say, never underestimate ingenuity. And we have now entered a new era of space exploration, highlighted by NASA's many partnerships with private companies.
And you know what? NASA's always inspired me. I'm excited because I think we're gonna find some ideas and concepts that would be great for the park.
George, I love it when you are firing on all cylinders. Pun intended. So let's head off to what's next, 1962 Mercury Mission Control.
6 minutes and 30 seconds and counting. Start ETI on my mark.
Oh, we're here at the Mercury Control Center. So cool.
It's amazing.
Yes, this one's set up for the Friendship 7 mission in 1962. It is like stepping into a piece of the past.
It is. I feel like we're on hollow ground. Legendary things happened here.
I know. Wait, I want to take a look at the actual mission.
Godspeed, John Glenn. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0.
Can you imagine actually being in this control room for those missions?
I would have loved it. It would have been fabulous to be a part of this program.
Well, it's so interesting to me because so often when we think of the space program, you know, the first image that comes to mind is the astronauts. But
Yes.
mission control is such a crucial part. It's such a collaborative effort.
It really is.
If you had been part of the mission, would you have wanted to be down here or up there?
Oh, I'm an up there kind of guy.
You would have had to go through a lot of training whether you were down here or up there.
Whatever it would take, I'm going up there.
I think you'd have the determination to do it. It's good to have a goal.
I thought we might have some fun in here.
Okay.
With maybe a few trivia questions. Are you maybe up for something like that?
Wait, what?
You know, a quiz that might tie into some of your space training that you're always talking about.
All right, hit me. What you got?
How many space flights did the Mercury program have?
6.
Woo! All right. That was an easy one.
I was gonna say, you gotta up the bar a little bit.
All right, how about Mercury program space flights were during what years?
They started in 1961.
Whoa. Where are those eyes going? I saw where they were going.
I have no idea. What does that piece of paper say?
61 to 63.
All right, I knew when they started. I wasn't sure when they ended.
All right. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, Last question then. Were any women a part of the Mercury program?
Ah, okay, see, that one is a trick question because the official answer would be no. However, Lovelace's secret Woman in Space program actually trained a whole group of women. They went through the same exact battery of tests that the men did who were training for the Mercury program. 13 of them passed. They were known as the Mercury 13. However, ultimately, they were not allowed to fly because of NASA's requirements at the time, such as the fact that you needed to be a commissioned military officer, which women couldn't do back then.
Well, you've been fully challenged. I think she's got the A.
But, you know, look, it's been amazing taking a look at all of this history, where we've come from. First,
love it.
Going into orbit, then the moon, space shuttle. But now let's take a look at the future. You know what I'm talking about.
The future.
The future.
You
To
wanna
the
go?
future.
To the future. Let's go.
All right. Seeing all of that history of the space program makes me realize just how far we've come. When you think about the future of space exploration, what do you envision?
Oh, I see us going to Mars. They're working on some unique projects right now. They're working on a deep space gateway.
What exactly is the gateway?
You may want to think of it more like a portal that we're gonna go to, and then we go through the portal and we take off into deeper space.
I think it's really inspiring for today's generation of middle school kids to realize that they may actually be that first group of people to touch down on another planet.
I see colonies on Mars. I know they're in mass production of rockets right now. So we're gonna see a lot of space travel, and food technology for the astronauts is helping us to make sure that when we get there, we'll be able to keep going.
We're going to take a look at some of the technology they're using to develop that food of the future that could actually be used to provide and grow food on Mars.
Sounds tasty. Let's go.
I hope so. So tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing here in the Life Sciences Division, right?
Yes. One of our main objectives, aside from launching rockets, is trying to figure out how do we take care of future crew's nutritional needs. And so what we're doing here is studying some of the different pick-and-eat type of crops that we can add to a crew's diet to give them the nutritional support that they need. The viability of some of the nutrients and vitamins tends to fall off when we start looking at missions beyond 3 years to 5 years.
Wait a sec, so you're saying that a long-term diet of astronaut ice cream is probably not the best thing for our crew?
I would like it, but it's probably not the best thing. Crew's taste buds up in space get affected from space flight, so we grow things like peppers, things that have more of an oomph. The way we were doing things for growing salads in space, it was focused on a traditional salad. But if you look at a traditional salad, you put the dressing on the salad because you want to give it flavor.
So are you working on a space salad dressing for the astronauts?
Not on a dressing, but we're actually looking at using microgreens. They're very high in nutrition, and you get a full range of flavors from them. Any salad crop will grow for the first couple of weeks as a microgreen. Then you harvest them. So it can be broccoli, it can be carrots, it can be mustard, it can be wasabi, it can be a whole range of things. So now they have a flavor complement to what's in their prepackaged diet that's giving them nutrition as well. And that's really what the whole thing about providing food is for, is the health of the crew. And it's not just the physical health, there's a known psychosocial benefit just from having plants, a sign of Earth there. We know that from the astronauts who are on the space station now. They really enjoy growing the plants. They take time with them.
Is this Earth soil? Is this a simulation of
Some of this is Earth soil, some of this is a baked clay medium called arsenite. This is a Martian simulant.
So have you figured out what the soil conditions are on Mars and then recreated those bad soil conditions here on Earth?
We've taken some of the most recent orbiter data as well as the rover data and come up with a formula for the surface of Mars that we've actually now are going to try to grow things in. We're very much focused on hydroponic systems. On the Earth, hydroponic systems are really the best way to grow plants. You get the highest yields, the best nutrition out of a hydroponic system. We'll be making our own water on Mars, so there's no reason not to do that. Once you get there and you're going to stay there for any length of time, you're committed to making your food in situ. If you want to use the actual Martian regolith, you've got to figure out how to take and extract the bad things from that regolith.
How much space do you think you're going to have to prepare soil-wise to grow
I
enough food?
think it's 50 square meters per crew member to supply them their diet in food. Any salad crop will grow for the first couple of weeks as a microgreen. We're branching out based on the nutrients that we know we need to provide with certain types of plants that'll meet those nutrient gaps.
So can you explain why microgravity is important to understand with the growth of plants?
Sure. So what happens is if you have a plant root and it gets in contact with water, it'll just pull all that water around it, and there'll be no place for the air to get through to it. Plants are either drowning or they have no access to water. It's just air. So the real challenge is how do you get the right mix of water and air to the root zones of the plants so they can be healthy and thrive. When you get to the surface of Mars or another body that even has partial gravity, that problem tends to go away pretty quickly. This is the long duration part of it. I think it would be really good for you to meet Dr. Joya Massa. Dr. Massa is working on the Veggie payload, which is currently on the International Space Station, and that represents what we're doing right now.
Well, thank you so much. This has been really cool to see. So, Ralph said you could tell us a little bit about Veggie.
Sure, I'm happy to. Veggie is a small plant growth chamber that we have in the International Space Station. This is a way that we can use to basically provide a garden for the astronauts. We have been growing the plants in what we call plant pillows.
Ooh, a
They're
plant
small
pillow.
grow bags, essentially, yeah. But they're not real soft because
yeah.
they're filled with this, which is a baked ceramic. It's called arsenite. It's the same stuff that's on a baseball field in between the bases.
Really?
So that helps trap air and water in the root zone. Along with this, which is our controlled release fertilizer that's mixed in there, it slowly releases nutrients over time.
You know, it's funny, I expect everything when you're talking about the ISS to look so futuristic, but I mean, this looks like what I'd pick up at my garden store.
Why reinvent the wheel when there's something great that works? We can adapt it for spaceflight. So a plant pillow is essentially just a pot that's adapted for spaceflight, right? It's wicking. The astronauts add water to this, and we fill it up, and it kind of expands. And this is what we have on Space Station with Veggie in the first couple of years of the Veggie program. But it requires a fair amount of water. So we're switching from this plant pillow system to what we call ponds, which is our passive orbital nutrient delivery system. It was invented by one of our scientists here at KSC, but then it's been developed by TechShot and Tupperware.
Tupperware, like put my salad in a bowl Tupperware?
Exactly. And this will be in these reservoirs here. So the astronauts will add water to the reservoir and it'll slowly feed the plant water. And hopefully there'll be enough water in here to feed the plant for quite a little while.
So as you can see, George and I did get all suited up. We were told you could take us into, we're not sure exactly what. Where are we going?
So we're going into this chamber here, which is our ISS Environment Simulator chamber. It gets data directly down from space station to mimic the temperature, the relative humidity, and the carbon dioxide level that's on the International Space Station right now.
So right now, this is the actual condition.
Yeah, these are the conditions. And so it's essentially everything but the gravity.
Okay.
So we're going into the space station.
All right, let's do it. It's pink.
It is. This is the Veggie.
This is the Veggie, okay.
So basically it consists of an LED light cap with a fan, a base plate with these flexible bellows, which are attached by magnets to the top. When we grow crop plants for the astronaut to have a garden, that will have the pillows or the ponds units in this. The Veggie lights are mostly red and blue, and we have a little bit of green. The green is more for the astronaut. Without that, with the red and the blue, the plants just look kind of gray.
Doesn't sound very good.
It's not as appetizing, right? It's not as appealing. But they don't really need green as far as we know right now. We need the green.
But before you get to this stage, you have to do all the research, right?
Right. So before we do this, we do a lot of pre-flight testing in our other chambers where we kind of pin down, the variables to down select to what's going to go into Veggie.
Can we get a look at that?
Sure.
Wonderful.
Happy to.
All right. Thank you so much for showing us
My
Veggie.
pleasure.
I'm just going to bask in the club for a minute.
Pretty awesome.
Hey, Brian.
Hey there.
Hey, Tamara.
Hi, Brian. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the Advanced Plant Habitat Lab.
Thanks. Joya said that you could show us around a little bit and tell us what you do here.
Absolutely. Well, what you're looking at right here is the Advanced Plant Habitat prototype. It's very similar to Veggie, except we are a closed environmental system.
So you can create all the different kinds of environments that you would want to test things for to figure out what's optimum for Veggie. Am I getting that right?
Yes, either here on Earth or as we move on to Moon and Mars, we really want to know what is that minimal resource I need to maximize my output.
Tell me a little bit more about the light and the experiments you're doing with light.
So right now you have a blue light. The blue light kind of helps us with direction for the plants.
What do you mean it gives them the direction?
So in space, there's no gravity.
Right.
So there's no sun to kind of point up and the roots that kind of go down.
Literally it tells them to grow
Literally, it
up.
tells them to grow up. Our computer, his name is the farmer. So the farmer's in charge of this whole payload. There's over 180 sensors on this payload.
Wait, what does farmer stand for?
It's the Plant Habitat, Avionics, Real-Time Manager in Express Rack. We needed a farmer up there, and we're hoping the farmer will report a lot of good data for us on what's going on. Let's walk over here and take a look at one of the growth chambers that I have.
Oh.
This is a flight growth chamber, and if you take a look at the back,
Oh, well, this is easy. It's only slightly less complicated than putting together my cable.
just a little bit, but
Yeah.
you should be able to handle it, I think.
Totally.
As you can see, we have sensors, and we have tried to maximize the space we have back here. And this is our microcontroller. This is what the farmer talks to talk to all his other sensors over here to see what's happening.
Well, I cannot wait to see what you grow, how all the information from this really feeds into what we do up on the ISS and beyond. And I'm using that feed word intentionally. I think it's possible for us to get a taste test.
I think I know a couple people I can talk to so you can get a taste test.
Awesome, thank you. We have been talking about food for quite a while now, and I'm hungry. You don't like me when I get hangry.
Matt, we need to do something about that.
We have to avoid that hanger, so luckily we have a whole assortment of microgreens here for you. What kind of flavors are you guys interested in?
Well, she likes hot and spicy. Do you have anything hot and
I
spicy?
think you should
do.
try our wasabi right here.
Okay, see, this doesn't, I mean, is this really gonna taste like wasabi?
You tell me.
All right, I'll give it a shot. You wanna try some?
Sure.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, down the hatch. Oh my God, that really tastes like wasabi.
It really
It's
does.
not quite as potent, but it's still pretty hot.
Has a
No,
nice little bite to it. It's delicious.
what else do we have? Is that broccoli?
People never believe that it actually tastes like regular broccoli, but it does.
All right, 1, 2, 3, down the hatch. Wow.
Right.
Wait, what else?
Here's a little sweeter one, a little buttery.
Ooh.
It's called Tokyo Pecan, and we actually grew this one on the ISS this year.
Oh, really?
As a full-size cabbage plant.
Matt, you're quite the chef.
I just grow them.
Actually, it's really cool to see that those who are out for a long-time settlement in space are going to eat really well.
They sure are.
George, I think this would be amazing for the salad bar at the Park of the Future.
I think you're right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for showing us this. We really appreciate it.
Is this your form of buying me lunch today?
Yes. It has been so inspiring taking a look at the history of the space program, as well as taking a glimpse into what may come in the future. Made me wonder, what does one need to do to become an astronaut? And I thought the perfect person to talk to is Tammy, the president and CEO of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation.
Thank you for having us. It's inspiring for us because we were founded by the Mercury 7 astronauts back in 1984. And the Mercury 7 astronauts had a belief that you don't know where the next frontier is going to be for innovation. And so we support everything in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields because of them and to keep their legacy going forward. When we look at the scholars, and every one of them, it's about passion. We find that they really are focused and know that they have the dedication to where they're going next. It's for anybody in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. We have scholars who are working in cybersecurity. We have them working on cancer cell research. We have them working on foods and things that are needed to be able to survive a long duration to Mars. We've got scholars who are working for SpaceX on the rockets right now, on the launch systems. We've got scholars who are working for another commercial company, Lockheed Martin, who are working on the probes and things to go up to Mars. So there's no end to the possibilities that may come over the next 20 years for students who are interested in that.
The possibilities really are infinite, and that's one of the things that's so exciting about the recent developments in the partnerships between public and commercial space entities.
Over the years, there have been all sorts of advances, and those technologies have led to big advancements in rocket ship design and spaceship design. In the Park of the Future, we're going to be collaborating with all sorts of companies from the outside, just like NASA does. They find and bring in the best of the best, and they start to create things that are of value. The astronauts, the scientists, the engineers, all the people that had to come together and collaborate to dream about going somewhere that's completely out of the ordinary. It takes that collaborative effort to pull it off. In the Park of the Future, we've got big goals as well, and it's going to take a lot of the same kind of energy. Good people, working hard, thinking outside the box, and dreaming big. That's improvement, that benefits mankind. The pace of innovation is unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime now coming out of NASA. It's a movement. It grabbed me, and it's gonna grab others in the next generation.
Well, George, you said if you were offered a seat on a trip to Mars, you'd take it.
Well, Tamara, I'm a man of my word. 2 tickets to Mars, please.
Wait, this one's for me, right?
That's definitely for you. You wanna go to Mars?
Let's do it.
Let's go.